Jamal Niaz here with the main man himself, Eddie Hearn, and what a couple of days for you, as always, here, there and everywhere. Yesterday, you was on Tyson Fury's table, which a few years ago, I never thought that we'd see the day you're on the same table as him at a press conference. Usyk was dressed as the character of Hitman. He opened the briefcase, revealed a picture of him punching Fury in the face, got him to sign it, and then today we see Sam Jones was massively dropped in it by Regis Prograis. I feel for him. I feel really bad for him.
Oh, it's all right. Sam will be all right. You know, it's just the drama of boxing. You know, it's got a lot of people talking. I think mind games from Regis Prograis. He wanted to try and disrupt the camp. And it's a massive fight. You know, it's a brilliant fight. It's a great show. It's just what we need for British boxing right now. You know, big nights like this, fantastic new arena at the Co-op Live, and looking forward to a great night.
What did you make of yesterday's press conference, Fury and Usyk? It really is a must-win for Tyson, isn't it?
It was a bit quiet. I mean, it's, like, you can't just expect boxers to perform on site. Sometimes you want people to say more because you're trying to get the fight to appeal to that casual audience. You don't really need that as much with Fury and Usyk. But listen, Usyk come dressed as a hitman. Yeah. I mean, what more do you want? Like, you know, so it's a real compelling fight, and I'm looking forward to it.
What do you make of Tyson's statements that in order to win the fight, he feels he has to win by knockout? Do you feel that he doesn't necessarily trust the judges, or do you feel like...
Look, I think the judges got it pretty much bang on. I mean, they had it very close. And it was a close fight. But it's interesting, you know, how do you beat Usyk? It's very difficult when you've already lost to him, you know. But we shall find out, you know, and we shall find out on December 21st.
Where does Tyson go if he loses? Would you advise retirement?
No, I think the fight with AJ is their win or lose. It's just the size of the fight. You know, if he wins, sets up a massive fight with AJ. And if he loses, could be those two big fights to say goodbye. Who knows? But, you know, when you lose to Usyk, it shouldn't really mean that you need to hang him up.
No.
He's
like the
pound
UFC model, isn't it? Like when big fighters lose all the time.
Once you start regressing, then you have to think about your future. But if you lose to Usyk in a great fight, why retire?
Do you feel... Well, I mean, it's putting you on the spot because obviously we don't know where AJ is going to be this time next year. But do you think realistically we could see AJ fight Fury this time next year? If AJ still wants to go for undisputed, doesn't he?
You know, the thing is we've got a decision to make for AJ. He wants to rematch Daniel Dubois. Probably won't be ready for February, but therefore we'll wait and see what happens December 21st. So, you know, it's all to play for in a heavyweight game.
When you say you don't think he'll be ready, like mentally, how is he right now?
He wants to fight, but he had some injuries, you know, some niggles in camp and a few more in the fight. And if he fights February 22nd, he's got to go into training camp in about 3 weeks' time. And he's come around very fast. You know, he thinks he'll be fine, but we've got to listen to the doctors and the training team. And we've got to make sure we're 100% for this fight. So if we have to wait till May or June, so be it. You know, he's still the biggest name in the division, or one of. So he's going to land the big fights, and we've got to make sure he's ready.
Based on what you said in previous interviews, you mentioned the only other option for Dubois would probably be Joseph Parker. So if it goes the way that you're kind of envisioning, potentially it'd be Parker Dubois in February.
Parker can fight anybody. Dubois can fight anyone, but I think the Parker matchup's a great fight. But yeah, if we're not ready for February, then Daniel can fight in February, and we'll fight him in May or June. It's not a problem.
So May, potentially, that was the date that was discussed for Eubank and Conor Benn. Could that be on the same? Be earlier?
Yeah, be earlier. February, March. You know, we'll see what happens over the next couple of weeks.
Is that headliner in Saudi, you think?
Or the UK. So you know, fills any stadium in the UK, any arena. We'll have to see.
I think that's a Wembley Stadium fight, 100%, 100%. When I know you were in Saudi as well last week, you were at the PFL fight, Francis Ngannou. Very emotional for him, given everything he's gone through this year. You've worked directly with him early this year. Would you like to see him venture back into boxing? Because he's got unfinished business.
I mean, I think watching him in the cage was a pretty cool experience. Like, he's a animal, handful. And I think that's his thing. You know, he's made a fortune out of boxing. And I don't think, unless he can land a big fight for big money, I think he should just stay in MMA. You know, he's a great fighter. You know, you can only imagine you can't imagine what he's been through, you know, and it was great to see him back get a win.
You wouldn't want to see him potentially against Deontay Wilder. I mean, Wilder's pretty much on the way out, isn't he?
But I'd like to see him performing his craft as well.
I know we spoke about this about 5 years ago as well. I know you've mentioned that Dana White always talks about moving into the boxing space. He says that it's relatively imminent. What do you make of that? He's mentioned you and Frank.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, got a great, of course. I've got a great relationship with Dana, and I think Dana just shows you the power of boxing, that Dana White's even considering it. Boxing's huge. It's much bigger than MMA. And, you know, if he comes into the space, it's great for the sport.
Final one. I know the Ben Shalom thing has been mentioned time and time again. Just honest opinions. What are your thoughts on how he's been to deal with? Because you're very cool, calm, relaxed like you always are. But Frank gets extremely irate talking about it.
You don't really see, you know, behind the scenes what goes on and what, you know, people are trying to put in contracts and insisting on. And I think Frank just lost his patience with it all, you know. And obviously there's no barriers to entry. There's no barriers to any relationships right now in boxing. And the fact that their relationship's not great is for a reason, but it's not really the reasons that you see. So we know, we see it, and we're just happy doing what we're doing around the world, you know, being part of these incredible Riyadh season events and being part of shows like Saturday Night.
Appreciate the time, Eddie. Thank you very much. Thank you.